What's up, guys? Ted from Immersion here, and sorry about the no top 10 Tuesday last week, but we are back this time to round out the Dungeons and Dragons trilogy books. It's going to be my top 10 items in the, or I guess magic items from the Dungeon Master Guide 5.0. Number 10, adamantine armor. It's not really a magic item per se, more like a magical material that any kind of armor can be made out of, any metal armor that is. It has a really simple effect. It's nice because it doesn't require attunement like a lot of the other magic items do. And simple effect, you are immune to critical hits. It doesn't come up obviously too often, but when you're getting low on health and you hear the DM go natural 20 and you can just go, nope, just regular damage for me, it's pretty nice. And honestly, the last game I played in just a few days ago, everybody else was getting critted like crazy, and he would have critted me at least twice, and I just avoided it thanks to my adamantine armor. So I would look into trying to get some if you can. It's uncommon too, so if magic items are allowed, it shouldn't be that hard to find. Number 9 is a fairly common staple in most Dungeons and Dragons games, I would say, but a hat of disguise. Simple. Hat you put on your head allows you to disguise self and change the way you look. Extremely useful, and I'm sure anybody can imagine tons of uses for this in any kind of social situation. You need to look like somebody else, you need to look like not yourself to avoid security or guards or something coming by, or you just don't want your handler, your buyer, your contact, whoever, to actually know who you are. Also, I've seen it used before if you're an undead character and you don't want people to realize that you're undead. Hat of disguise solves that whole problem. Unless, your hat is removed, someone casts detect magic and realizes that your hat is magical, then you might be in some trouble. But for an uncommon magic item, I'd say it's one of the best. Number 8 is the Holy Avenger. It is pretty much known as honestly, I think it's the only paladin-only item in this entire book. There are several other cleric-only items, or druid-only items, or cleric-paladin-druid items, or something like that. This is the only item that is only available for paladins. It's legendary, unfortunately. Works with any sword, and just has nice properties. Gives that a +3 to attack, +3 to damage. Does extra damage to fiends and undead, something that paladins are used to doing through their smites anyway. And the nice thing is it gives you another aura. Especially if you're an Oath of Vengeance paladin, you won't have a lot of auras. Like the other two oaths get an individual aura. This one gives you advantage on saving throws against spells and magical effects. And this is nice because that also covers things like Dragon Breath or something like that. And if you have 17 levels in Paladin, your aura jumps out from 10 feet to 30 feet, which is nice because the base auras in Paladin themselves don't go out to 30 feet until level 18. So again, it's legendary, so good luck finding one, but if you can, go for it. Maybe you can get a side quest to find one. Number 7 is the Belt of Dwarfkind. It is a rare item, it does require attunement, but it is one of the few items in the game that doesn't set your stat at a given number. Like the Amulet of Health sets your Constitution at 19. This ups it by 2. Does max at 20, unfortunately. And has the other interesting thing to give you advantage on persuasion checks against dwarves. And probably one of my favorite things about it is if you're attuned to the belt, there's a 50% chance that any day at dawn, if you're capable of growing a beard, if you shave your beard off or have no beard, there's a 50% chance you will grow a full beard overnight, or grow a visibly thicker beard if you already have one. And if you're not a dwarf, you also get the benefits that dwarves get inherently. Advantage on saving throws against poison, resistance to poison damage, dark vision out to 60 feet, and you can speak, read, and write Dwarvish. So, pretty solid benefits. That resistance, and again, this is another way to get around dark vision if you didn't have it already. So, I just like the idea of being able to shave and grow a beard, or it grow thicker every night. Number 6 is the Cloak of Displacement. This is one I honestly didn't realize until just recently what it does. I also like that the art shows the two kind of displacer beast tentacles down the bottom. It's kind of a nice touch. Is rare, it does require attunement, but has the great benefit of any attack against you has disadvantage. If you get hit by an attack and take damage, the function ceases to work until your next turn, and once your next turn starts back up, you are then have disadvantage. All attacks have disadvantage on you again. It is suppressed if you're incapacitated, restrained, or otherwise unable to move, but I mean, constant. I don't know how early you could get access to this, but disadvantage. All attacks have disadvantage against you. I feel like nothing can make it more frustrating for a high-level dragon, vampire, whatever, to try to hit you with an attack and then, oh, nope, make disadvantage and turn that natural 20 into a natural 1. Number 5 is Ifriti Dchain. I mean, the benefits of it outright. Legendary, requires attunement. It's chainmail, but it gets the +3 bonus to AC, but has the lovely benefits of making you immune to fire, give you the ability to speak Primordial, which is a rare language. But my probably favorite thing about it is you can walk across molten rock as if it were solid ground. I don't know how often that's going to come up in your game, how many volcanoes you're going to visit, but I feel like it might come up in the Elemental Evil campaign based on the fact that it's all about the elements. I also don't know, I can't think of off the top of my head a kind of lava fonty spell that makes like a lava ground that you would take damage if you stood on it, but now you could just walk over it and it'd be no problem. Again, it's legendary, so good luck finding it. There's kind of an interesting art to it as well, but I mean, immunity to fire is huge just due to the amount of creatures that do fire damage, all fiends and devils and all that kind of stuff. Number 4 is kind of just a goofy item, but I really like the concept of it. It's the Bag of Tricks. There are 3 different kinds of bags, and essentially you reach inside one of these bags and you grab a fuzzball. And you can throw the fuzzball up to 20 feet away, and then you roll a d8, and it determines a random animal that gets summoned from the fuzzball turns into a random animal, and then it fights for you. There's a gray bag, a rust bag, and a tan bag, different creatures in each. Once you have pulled 3 fuzzballs from the bag, it can't be used again until the next morning. Some things you can get out of here, kind of crappy stuff like a rat, but you could also get something like a direwolf, a lion, a tiger, giant weasel, giant hyena, a bunch of random different things. But I just kind of like the idea of it because it's very random. It's uncommon. It doesn't require attunement. So if you have one, there's no point in not using it. And a little more randomness than like figurines of power or something like that. Also, you can command them as a bonus action, so it's better than a Beastmaster pet. Number 3 is the ever popular, always crazy, great way to ruin campaigns / end them if you're really looking for something crazy, the Deck of Many Things. Anybody who's played Dungeons & Dragons before, I'm sure has heard of this. There are a bunch of different cards, and essentially you draw a card and it does something completely random. It could be amazing, it could be awful. I believe you're supposed to use, most of the decks have 13 cards, some have 22. Before you draw a card, you have to declare how many you intend to draw. So if you say, I'm only going to draw 1, you draw 1, and that's what you get. You could say 3, whatever you want. Sometimes you might draw a card that tells you to draw more. You must draw each card no more than 1 hour after the previous draw. If you fail to draw the chosen number, the remaining number of cards fly from the deck on their own and take effect all at once. So make sure you draw those. Once the card is drawn, it fades from existence. Unless the card is the Fool or the Jester, the card reappears in the deck, making it possible to draw the same card twice. I'm just going to grab you a couple of random ones here. Jester, you gain 10,000 experience, or you can draw 2 additional cards beyond your declared draws. Let's see. The Fool, you lose 10,000 experience, discard this card, and draw from the deck again, counting both draws as one of your declared draws. If losing that much experience would cause you to lose a level, you instead lose an amount that leaves you just within enough XP to keep your level. So not the worst. This one gets you Wish 1d3 times. Summon an Avatar of Death. A ghostly humanoid skeleton clad in tattered black robes and carrying a spectral scythe. It appears in a space the DM's choice within 10 feet of you and attacks you, warning all others that you must win the battle alone. The avatar fights until you die or it drops to 0 hit points, whereupon it disappears. If anyone tries to help you, the helper summons its own avatar of death. A creature slain by the avatar of death can't be restored to life. Statistics on the avatar of death: AC of 20, half the hit points of the person who summoned it, immunity to necrotic and poison damage, it's immune to features that turn undead, can move through other creatures, it takes 5d, takes 1d10 force damage if it ends its turn inside an object. It sweeps a spectral scythe within 5 feet, dealing 7 slashing damage, so it's not the worst. I feel like I remember things being... actually, I take that back. Every magic item you wear or carry disintegrates. Artifacts in your possession are destroyed but do not vanish. Here's a good one. Reality's fabric unravels and spins anew, allowing you to avoid or erase one event as if it never happened. You can use the card's magic as soon as you draw the card or at any other time before you die. Powerful devil becomes your enemy, permanently reduce your intelligence, so on and so forth. Could be really fun. I like to say it's a good way to end a campaign. If things are starting to get stale and you really want to spice it up, you can throw one of these in there. Or if you want to be really crazy, throw one in right at the beginning. And have everybody draw a card and see what happens. I mean, this avatar death could murder a first level character easy, and making an enemy of a devil, that could also be bad. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think about the deck of many things. Number 2 is the Oath Bow. I think this is a pretty cool weapon. Longbow, very rare, requires attunement. It's an elven bow, requires you to speak... when you knock an arrow, it whispers in Elvish, "Swift death to my enemies." When you use that weapon to take a ranged attack, you can as a command phrase, say, "Swift death to you who have wronged me." The target then becomes your sworn enemy for up to 7 days. When your sworn enemy dies, you can choose a new one at dawn. When you make a ranged attack with this weapon against your sworn enemy, you have advantage. So that's free advantage on anything, ranged attack with this. In addition, it gains no benefit from anything except total cover, and you suffer no disadvantage due to long range. So that's huge. And if the attack hits, your sworn enemy takes an extra 3d6 damage. While your sworn enemy lives, you have disadvantage on attack rolls with all of their weapons. Why would you never not use this bow? The only disadvantage is if you swear an enemy that can escape very easily, you're going to wait 7 days to pick a new one. But if you get into a battle and there's a big boss, a dragon, a devil, something very powerful, choose that as your enemy and then kill it, and then wait till tomorrow and pick something else. I really like the concept of this bow. I wish there was more stuff similar to old things in 3.5 where I could get an oath bow and then add other effects to it. Like, say, if this was a +1 oath bow, that would be fantastic. But there are other ways around that with fighting styles and things like that. But, yeah, what a great weapon for an archer. Maybe make your ranger viable. And number 1, the Sunblade. It's a frickin' lightsaber. I mean, it's a lightsaber in Dungeons & Dragons. All it is a long sword hilt. While grasping the hilt, you can use it. I don't feel like it should be a bonus action, but it is. To make a blade of pure radiance. It's a lightsaber. It's a blade of light that shoots out of it, and then you can swing it around and deal damage with it. It does extra radiant damage. It has this magic longsword has the finesse property, so if you're a dex user, that's good. If you're proficient with long swords or short swords, you're proficient with it. You can also just use a bonus action to make the blade disappear. A +2 to attack, +2 to damage. So there's an extra 1d8 to undead, and it throws bright light because it's, you know, a lightsaber. The only downside, really, again, is the light. You have a beacon of light if you're trying to stealth around in the dark and you have to attack somebody. Bonus, though, it just looks like a broken hilt. So you could easily smuggle that into places and be like, oh, this is just a memento or a token of my, you know, previous battles or my mentor or whatever. And then they'll just be like, yeah, whatever, it's just a handle. And then when, you know, shit hits the fan, and down goes the enemy. We actually saw that happen with someone in our party that had that this weekend. Did the exact thing I just mentioned. So that's it. That's my top 10 D&D 5.0 magic items from the Dungeon Master Guide. Honorable mention obviously goes to Bag of Holding, Heward's Handy's Haversack. Just solid items anybody would want. But yeah, what do you guys think? What are your favorite items from Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition? Did you agree with any of the ones that I had? Did you like any of them better? Did I miss one? How about new ones you'd like to see? Because I feel like there should be some more specific to different classes. No love for rogues, specifically, in this. Or rangers, really. But anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next week.